Hi there and welcome back to my channel. My name is Maya and today's video is going to be a top 5 pieces of advice that I would give to a mother or really just anybody who is going back to school, but specifically for people that have children, because we all know that having kids and either working or going to school or anything is really time consuming. It's hard, it's very overwhelming sometimes, especially depending on what you're going back to school for. So in my case, I am currently in school to become a medical assistant. Started school while I was pregnant, so I knew that I was gonna have to take a little bit of a break like after I had my son. So I actually just started going back after being off for 12 weeks. It was originally supposed to be 8, but I was not ready to go back at 8 weeks, so I took another month off, and so I took 12 weeks. So I recently just started going back to school, and I wanted to give advice on it because I did start school when I was pregnant, and I had a 2-year-old. I have experience in going to school with having kids. I don't have experience on working and going to school with kids, but I do have experience of going to school, being a parent, a mom, trying to keep your life together. I'm also married, so I also like my family and then going to school. If you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below, and let's go ahead and get into it. I did just have to do a little bit of an outfit change because I was still in my scrubs from school and I just wanted to get a little bit more comfortable. So my first piece of advice that I would give anybody in general who wants to go back to school, but specifically for somebody who has kids, pick a school that has a time that will work for you, because I know a lot of schools, they either do just morning classes, they do just night classes. My school specifically does both of them. Now, when it comes to like medical field, a lot of the times they don't do the night classes. It's very like, you just have to find them. My program's only 10 months long, where typically it can go anywhere from like 10 months to years just to get this degree or diploma. I would say pick a school that will work for you, work with you, because not all schools understand that everybody who attends either has a family, they have kids, they have jobs, like all those kind of things. You just have to find one that works for you and go with it. I specifically, when I started school in October of last year, I started doing night classes, evening classes, whatever you want to call them. And after I had my son, quickly realized that that was not realistic for our family. It just didn't make sense. So I switched to morning classes. The reason I chose night classes was because it was easier for us in the sense that we didn't have to have anybody watch my son. I would stay at home with my son during the day, and then at night, my husband would get home and I would go to school, and then by the time I got home, he was already in bed and everything. So it just kind of worked out for us that way. But after I had my second son, we both realized that our night times are probably the most hectic for us. Our nighttime routine can run anywhere from 5:30 to 7. So it just depends on how long it takes us to eat, clean up, get the kids bathed. We have to feed the baby, get them ready for bed and in bed, and then to sleep before we can do anything else. So if my husband had to do that by himself, I would feel really bad for him, because it is hard. It's hard for one person to do it. We decided that going to night school just wasn't going to work for us anymore. I do go to morning school, or like I take morning classes. I go to school from 8:30 to 12:30 compared to the 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. night classes that I took. My second piece of advice that I would offer or give to somebody who is looking to go back to school, or specifically for medical assisting, is time management. Find a schedule that works for you and your family and stick to it. I'm a very big advocate when it comes to scheduling. I pretty much am scheduled from the time that I wake up in the morning until the time that I go to sleep at night. And that's what works for me, and it works for my family and my kids. My kids have always been on a schedule. The reason I say scheduling, time management, is because time management in school in general is very big. You have to manage your time wisely enough to give yourself enough time to do your schoolwork, to study, to also do everything in your daily life. You can't forget like your social life either, because a lot of people are like, this time while you're in school, you're not going to have a social life, you're not going to have anything. Well, you mentally need to have those kind of things, or you will just, like, it's very overwhelming. So I would say, for me, you can't just get by in these kind of classes. You actually have to study, you have to work, you have to do your homework, you have to do your, like, everything. You can't just say, oh, I'll just wing it. We can't wing it in the medical field, so you just have to do it. I prefer to study and do homework at night. It just works better for us because I go to school in the morning until 12:30. I pick my kids up from my mother-in-law's house. She keeps them while I'm at school for a few hours, and then when I get home, it's about 1:30, so that gives me enough time to hang out with my kids, to pick up around the house, to clean up, to do laundry, to do anything else, cook dinner that I need to do, and then get the kids down for bed when my husband gets home. And then after they go to sleep, it gives me about 3 to 4 hours, depending on what time we actually get them to sleep, to sit down and do homework and study and actually get it done, instead of being interrupted every 5 to 10 minutes for something, or not being able to concentrate, or just anything else. It's just easier that way. When I was in night school, I would do my schoolwork when my son napped, which gave me 2 hours to do my schoolwork until he woke up, typically, because he takes a nap for 2 hours during the day. Or I'd have to do it in the morning before he woke up. So throughout the day, it would give me 3 hours while he was sleeping to do my schoolwork during the day before I would go to school at night. But now I'm taking morning classes, so I get about 3 to 4 hours at night, which would have been the time that I did go to school. But I'm still at home, so it helps out a lot. Also, I didn't really like being away from home at night. It just gives me like really bad anxiety. I like to be home at night. That's my thing. The next thing that I would say is, don't be afraid to ask for help, in the sense like in anything. If it comes to childcare, if it comes to tutoring because you need help, you're not understanding anything, when it comes to studying, when it comes to housework, or whatever the case may be, don't be afraid to ask for help. And I know that a lot, especially young mothers who feel like they have to prove themselves to people, will say, I'm just going to do it all by myself and I don't need any help. You can't do that. Well, first of all, nobody can do everything by themselves. That's just how it is. You have to have help and ask for it. There's thousands of resources out there. Your school will most likely have a lot of those resources that you need, or can point you in the right direction to somebody who can help you. The fourth piece of advice that I would give is to give time for yourself as well. That goes back to what I talk about with the mental health. A lot of people drown themselves in their schoolwork and being a mom and how busy it can be. Trust me when I tell you that my life is the busiest it has ever been the past 3 years. I feel like that I always have something going on and I never have time to do anything. But if you work hard, if you put forth the effort and get all of your schoolwork done and get everything done that you need to do, give yourself a day to just do whatever you want to. I know when I first started school, I was pregnant with my second son, and my first son was just about to turn 2. I felt so overwhelmed and defeated and everything, because I had to figure out what best worked for me, and like scheduling wise, because I would get up in the morning and I would be with my son and I would do everything that I normally would do in the morning, and then when he would take a nap, I would do my schoolwork, which typically is the time that I clean my house. And then when he woke up, we were up, he was playing, and then it was time to eat dinner, and then I would go to school, and then I would come home, and it would be almost 11 o'clock by the time I got home. And then I would do it all over again the next day. And it got to the point where like I felt like I couldn't clean my house, I couldn't do laundry, I couldn't get the things done that I needed to get done. And it was just really bad for my mental health, to the point where the day of my midterm for my very first class of going back to school, I said, I'm not studying, I'm not doing it. When my son takes a nap, I'm cleaning my whole house. And let me tell you, I flew through that midterm, and I passed it with, I think, like a 95 or something like that. And I believe that it was because I had such a clouded mind with how cluttered and dirty my house felt that I needed to take a mental break to clean my house and get my life back together before I could actually concentrate and do good and study in school. So my advice to you is, whatever clears your mind, whatever hobbies you have, whatever makes you feel good mentally, still make time for it. My last piece of advice would be to enjoy it. And I know that sounds cliche, and I know that sounds like, what do you mean, like, enjoy it? And when I say that, I mean enjoy your time that you have with your kids, because you don't get to see them as often as you did. I know a lot of people work, and you may have to go to school at night. So when I say enjoy it, I mean enjoy the time that you have with your kids when you have them, enjoy the time that you have with your spouses when you have them, but also remember why you're doing what you're doing, whether it's for yourself, for your kids, for your family, for your husband, for whoever it is. Remember why you do it, and remember that when it gets really hard, my school gives us these little coins that have the school name on them, and it's like a little emblem type thing that they encourage us to keep and put on our nightstand table, in our bathroom when we're brushing our teeth in the mornings, somewhere where you can see it every day, to remind yourself when it gets hard that I'm working towards this goal, and this is what I want to do, so this is what I'm going to do. So I encourage you to also do something like that. If you have a piece of paper, you can write down why you're going to school and hang it up on your bathroom mirror, or put it in your car, or if you have a picture of like your kids or something, just so that when you look at it every single day and you're on your way to school, or you just had a rough day, you just failed a test, or you don't understand something and you're just very frustrated about it, you can look down or look up or look at it and say, this is why I'm doing this. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to enjoy this, because this is only a chapter of your life. And once you get finished with that chapter, you're going to have the rest of your working life to be grateful for that little bit of time that you had doing your schoolwork and going to school for this. This is not a race. It's a marathon. You will get to the finish line eventually. Just work hard and do it. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Again, if you like it, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.